Hello everyone! Taylor here, and let me just tell you, I binged watched all 7 episodes of Big Little Lies in one night, and it's freaking amazing! Let's talk. So, Big Little Lies is a series I've been meaning to check out for quite a while now. I'd heard a lot of good things about it, and with it being a miniseries, I knew it was something that I could tackle with not too much of an issue. So, I don't even know where to begin with this. First of all, the entire cast is just incredible. You've got Reese Witherspoon, you've got Shailene Woodley, you've got Laura Dern, you've got... who else is even in this? You've got Zoe Kravitz, you've got Adam Scott, you've got Nicole Kidman. There's just, I know I'm leaving people out, but this cast is just, there are so many people in this cast that are insane. So, the character development in this show is something that I love so much. These characters all feel so lived in and so explored and just so real. I can just see all these characters walking around in the real world and people believing it, that they are actual real people. Nicole Kidman knocks it out of the park. The only issue I ever have with Nicole Kidman's acting is that her accent slips. Sometimes she has trouble keeping her Australian accent out of it, but I don't even care because she is brilliant. Like, even just the smallest little acting choices she makes are perfect. She puts so much into this performance, and to play someone who's going through that kind of trauma and that kind of abuse, and seeing it portrayed in a way that's so authentic and so... I don't even know. A lot of the times when that kind of abuse and that kind of a trauma is portrayed, people don't really understand why these characters don't tell someone right away and don't try to get out right away and don't realize that the situation they're in is toxic. And to see it played out like this, where she doesn't see herself as the victim, she sees herself as someone who's just as guilty as Alexander Skarsgård's character is, and she sees herself as someone who can take it and is in a situation that's gonna get better, and he keeps promising that it's gonna get better, so it's gonna get better, and just seeing it portrayed that way means so much to me because I know what it's like to see someone in a situation like that. I know what it's like to kind of be in a situation like that. I'm not gonna expand any further on what I mean by that, but seeing it portrayed like that means so much to me. Just because it's such a breath of fresh air to see it portrayed that way. The episodes were all very nicely paced. Towards the end it kind of felt a little bit rushed just because they were trying to cram the finale in it, but not in a bad way. I just noticed that it was a little bit faster. But the pacing was really nice. It really felt like we got to spend time with each of the characters, and really, you know, see what it is that they're going through and feel what it is that they're feeling. Reese Witherspoon's character, I loved her. She was just so, like, I'm gonna keep saying this because it just feels like it, but she just felt so real and so lived in, and that's how all these characters feel. You could tell that she was struggling. She was trying to keep her marriage together and trying to not, you know, freak out about her daughters growing up, and trying to not keep cheating on her husband, and just all this stuff, trying to keep up with all the other moms and keep up with this crazy town that they live in where everything's always a competition, and especially with how much money everyone has. And she really just shined in this character. I loved seeing Adam Scott. This is honestly the only other major thing I've seen him in other than Parks and Rec, so it was really nice to see him in this character. I thought he did a great job. I thought he really got to shine in this more dramatic role. I loved Shailene Woodley's character Jane and the relationship that she had with her son. I thought it was just so precious and so special, and just the way that she sees him as her world, which is what she should do, and she's ready to defend him no matter what the cost, and she just cares about giving him such a good life, and their relationship was just so special. And I thought she did really well in this role. I'm not always a huge fan of her work, but I really loved her here. The little boy was amazing. He did so well. I just loved him so much. All of the children in this show were on point. They were all fantastic. Alexander Skarsgård was amazing. He was such a vile, gross, disgusting excuse for a character, but Alexander did him so well that you just hated him. You hated him so, so much. And it was perfect. He was able to play that guy who tries to make the person he's abusing feel guilty and make them feel like it's their fault and make them feel like they don't have anywhere to go. So I thought he was brilliant. I loved seeing Zoe Kravitz in things. I thought she was great. Just all of the characters. Laura Dern, I could not stand her character Celeste, but she was amazing. She blew me away. She was, once again, like up until probably the last 2 episodes, I freaking couldn't stand her. I was like, dang, you need to take a chill pill, you need to calm down, like, but I did think it was interesting seeing her as the working mom and the one who always gets flack because she did choose a career when all these other women have, it seems like, just as much money, but they don't have a career. And so that dynamic was really cool to see that play out. I really enjoyed all of the characters so much. It was so refreshing to see a show where all the characters were given so much love and attention, and it just seemed like every single actor and actress invested so much into these characters, and it just made me so happy. Moving on, I loved the cinematography, the way that this show was shot. The lighting choices were great, like especially when Nicole Kidman's character, don't know why I'm blanking, her character and Alexander Skarsgård, when they go to the counselor or the therapist, and the lighting in that shot and the framing, just the way that that all was shot, it's so cool to see those two characters on screen together, the way that they framed it, because you can see the way that they react to each other, even in the smallest little ways. And it was just incredible. All of the dark scenes were not the annoying kind of dark. There was enough lighting, and it looked natural, even if it was dark, that you could see what was going on. So that was very well done. I really appreciate when a production team and a cinematographer and everyone knows how to do that correctly. So that was great. I really, really enjoyed the way that they shot kind of the flashback scenes, I guess you could call it, with Jane, with Shailene Woodley's character, how you got a very, very little glimpse of her flashback. And then as the episodes go on, they get a little bit longer and a little bit longer and a little bit longer until you actually find out what happened to her and what happened on that night. And I thought the way they revealed it was so striking and just kind of got you hooked into it. And it kind of felt like a memory you were starting to remember that you were trying to block out, which I'm sure is how she was feeling. So that was really cool to kind of be in that with her. So that was great. Everything about this show just makes me so excited, and I really hope that we get more television like this, just because you can tell it was a project that was so, so cared for. I spent the whole entire time trying to guess who was going to die and who was going to be the one to do it. I spent the whole time hoping that it would be Alexander Skarsgård's character and not one of the women killing one of the other women for a stupid reason that they all fight about. And I was very pleased to see that it was him that ended up dying, and it made me even more happy to see that Bonnie came in and was like, nah. And she was the one that shoved him, and that just brought me so much satisfaction, because you could tell she was just trying to live her life. She was trying to get along with everyone and trying to be a part of her family, and you know, she, like, her character is all about, you know, peace and chilling out and doing yoga and stuff like that, but like, beyond the surface level, she was literally just trying to live her life and trying to, you know, keep the peace, and it was just great to see her be the one to back these women up who aren't always the nicest to her, and who a lot of the times talk, you know, trash behind her back, and she steps up and she's like, no, this is not going to happen anymore. And I thought that the way that that last episode was shot was so awesome. The buildup was driving me insane. Just because you know that in those last 5 to 10 minutes is when someone's going to die. So the build-up was great. I was anxious the entire time, and then to see it come together so perfectly, where all of the women were in the same place when it happened and could all defend each other and all back each other up, was so beautiful. And I loved it so much, because no matter how much these women don't get along on certain occasions, they had each other's back. They were there to make sure no man was gonna get away with beating the crap out of Nicole Kidman's character. And then I think one of my favorite shots in the entire series was when you see, and I called this, my roommate Jolene was watching this with me. I roped her into watching all 7 episodes, and she hates me now. I called it. I said, I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd episode, I was like, I bet you that the guy that Shailene has a problem with, and the father to her child, is gonna be Alexander Skarsgård's character. I was like, I don't know why, but I have a feeling. And then as the episodes went on, and those two never met and never interacted, I was like, it's got to be him. And then when you see the picture of the interior designer, I was like, that looks so much like his character. It has to be him. And I was right, because the look on her face when she sees him for the first time at the staircase, she is horrified. She is absolutely horrified. And then you see Reese's character look at her and look at him, and it clicks for her. And then she looks at Nicole Kidman's character and back at Jane, and then it clicks for Nicole Kidman's character, and then it pans to him and he recognizes Jane, and that's when the all shit just breaks loose. And that, it just was so satisfying to see the scene unfold in that way. Like, would the timing all work out like that in real life? It's possible. Probably not probable, but I believe that coincidences and timing like that is actually possible, and it just, I loved it. I was like, it just made me so happy. Like, Jolene and I were both just so satisfied with how it turned out. And I also loved how it alludes to the fact that he, you know, ends up dying. And then it goes back and you actually see what happens and how it all goes down, which was just fantastic. I cannot possibly say enough good things about this show. Are there things that are wrong with the show? Are there flaws? Yes. Do I care what they are? No, actually, I don't. And a lot of the time, I'm fine with bringing up, and a lot of the time, I'm great at, and a lot of the time, I don't mind bringing up flaws in movies or TV shows and talking about it and kind of dissecting it. But for this show, I literally don't even care. Like, I don't. I can't think of any glaring flaws that upset me or took me out of the show, or anything like that, because I just had so much love for it. It was beautifully shot, the cast was amazing, the characters were fantastic, the story was so well thought out and was told so well and had great pacing that, you know what, I'm not gonna find things wrong with this. Like, I just don't want to. I just want to love it as much as I do, and I think that I'm entitled to that, honestly. But have you guys checked it out? Do you plan on checking it out? I hope you've already seen it if you've watched this, because I literally spoiled not everything. There's a lot of crap that goes down in this show. A lot. Like, there is so much that happens. But, I mean, I could talk for probably like an hour about this. But, if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry that I spoiled things for you, because it's a fantastic show. But I'm hoping most of you have watched it. Please, please, please leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to talk to you guys about this show, because I just love it so much. I know I'm a little bit late in seeing it, but, you know, life. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed your time here. If you did not, I apologize, but thank you so much for stopping by anyway. Please hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and check out my Stardust account. All my social media stuff is down there. I do have a Patreon page if you would like to contribute. I am trying to get new equipment to film. I'm trying to go to some events in the upcoming year to get you guys footage of and do some pretty cool things for the channel. But anyway, that's about all I got, and I will see you all next time.